In this video, I'm going to walk you through all the different ways that you can assign workout under the Create button in the Classwork tab. So if I click on Create, now we're just going to ignore that top one because you won't have that. We've gone into detail about how to create an assignment, but let's take a look at this next one down, the quiz assignment. What happens here is when I select that, it's going to create a blank quiz right within Google Classroom. So this is handy if you don't want to create a quiz through your Google Drive, or if you don't want to do forms.new and just make a quiz that way. You can actually create it right within Google Classroom, and then you don't have to go through the motions of attaching it. So I will give it a title. So let's say this is a math quiz, and then I will go ahead and click on the blank quiz form to open it up. And once that's open, it opens a blank quiz for me, and I'll go ahead and just populate that with some information. So I created this very simple addition quiz. I gave it a title here. I gave it a title up here as well. I created this very simple question, made it multiple choice, 765, and I toggled this on here so that the students have to fill in the response. The only other thing I want to show you is under the settings, it defaults to releasing the grades right to the students immediately after they submit it. I might suggest doing later after manual review. You might want to do that, but that's up to you. So I've got that all set up. So now I can actually just go ahead and close that. I know it still says blank quiz here, but when the students receive it, it will say addition quiz. And then, of course, as with anything else in Google Classroom, you're able to choose the drop down arrow and schedule, save it as a draft, or just assign it out immediately to your students. You also have the option to assign it to more than one class and to change the points, add a topic. So, all of those things that you have for a regular assignment. And then you would just, close it out. And once I've closed it, I now see that it's grayed out because it saves as a draft. And so that is one way that you can use the create button. By the way, if I don't want this to appear anymore as a draft or anything else, I would just do the three dots and delete. And whenever you see the three dots, it means you have some options. Okay, next under the create button is this one called a question. This is just a really quick snapshot. So perhaps you're talking about a certain subject and you want to just do a quick check in with your kids and see if they understand what you're talking about. You would create a question here. So, what is 3 plus 5? And you can, I don't know, maybe you want to have that as a short answer. You want the students to describe how they arrived at the answer. Or you can create it as a multiple choice. And we would do options again. And it says ask here. So again, I have all the things I can set up on this side. And I am able to schedule, save it as a draft, etc. And I'm just going to close this out because I want to show you that this icon, when it's an assignment, it looks like this. And now when it's a question, also a quiz, by the way, will look like that. When it's a question, it has this question mark on it. So that's the question. Next, we have material. Material is generally anything you want the kids just to have reading access to. You want them to perhaps have it for that entire unit. You want to keep it at the top of their Google Classroom page so that they can refer to it. And this is where you would put that. So once you fill in the title and you attach whatever it is you're attaching, it will give the option to post. And with those other save and schedule, save draft and schedule. And the icon that would come up for that one would be this like little clipboard looking thing. So that is material. And then finally, we have this reuse post. This is really, really useful, especially for specialist teachers. But I know that when we went over the assignment, I showed you how to assign something to more than one class at a time. But perhaps you forgot to do that, or you need to reuse something that you've already posted somewhere else. So what happens is it will open up this little window and defaulting to the last class that you were searching for posts in. But if I click this back arrow, I have access to all my other Google Classrooms. I'm going to choose 4B computers. I'm going to look at something that I had given the students that I want them to, I want to give to 4A. So I've given it to 4B. I want to reuse it for 4A. So I'm going to click on that research practice. It already defaults to creating new copies of all attachments, so I don't have to worry about that. And I'm going to click reuse, and Google will do its magic. And now you'll get this page where you have the title. You can go ahead and you can edit anything you want here, because it will import it as exactly the way that you had done it for the other class. So I had set it as a make a copy, I had set it as ungraded, and the topic was research. So it'll do all of that automatically for you. And then you can go ahead and assign, schedule, or save it as a draft. So those are the different buttons you have, or the different options you have under the create button. And yeah, I hope that helps.